Hi!
There we are.
Welcome to another Manifest live stream of the main campaign on a Friday instead of Tuesday. We had some internet problems on Tuesday, so we're doing a little makeup session today. And before we get started with any recaps or anything like that, Addie Gia, do you have any cool announcements for us?
Yes. Two announcements. On Tuesday, the second story for in the Russell Zimmerman compilations went up called The Gambler. And that is exclusive to people who have access to our Discord, and the people on the Discord are the people who have pre-ordered or kickstarted Manifest. And good news, you can too if you want to read the story, because pre-orders are still open. You can go to BackerKit and search it for Manifest the RPG and pre-order. That's the whole story. I did the whole thing. You guys heard it here first. The other really exciting thing is that we are doing a giveaway, which is super duper cool. We have some really high quality, amazing prints from some of the art, the critter art. Ooh,
No,
that's
no,
gonna
not the
go.
hide behind. Oh, no.
Critter art that's going to go in the book. We have some amazing prints. These were all done for us by the amazing Crystal Sully. You can find her on Twitter and on Patreon. Just Crystal Sully, Sulley, I think. Oh no, maybe I did it wrong.
No,
nope,
just...
it's just Y. It's just Y, guys. So they are so cute. That you can see some of them on Tommy's screen wherever he is. And we are going to be doing that giveaway about halfway through during our intermission. And the code word for the giveaway will be going up on the side of the screen.
Yeah, that way.
This way.
Point to your right, Addie.
That
Yeah,
way.
yeah. It's gonna be there
at 9
between
o'clock.
Addie and Dan.
Nice. At 9 o'clock, and then you will during the intermission type in that word. So one caveat is that you have to follow us, not subscribe, but follow us on Twitch in order to type into the chat. So make sure you do that so that you can be eligible to win. Right now you have to be in the US or Canada. Unfortunately, we still don't have the means to send stuff out to the wider world, but we're working on it. So we're going to do that. And that's about it. Unfortunately, we have no new updates for Manifest prop. While China's factories are opening up, ours isn't yet. So, as soon as we have more information, of course, we will be giving it out to you. And the best way to keep track is to follow our Kickstarter page, or follow us on Twitter, or tune in here every week. Also follow and subscribe if you can. And if you subscribe through Amazon, make sure that you re-up your subscription. You have to do it every 30 days. And it is a complimentary with your Prime account. You get one complimentary subscription. And if you're not subscribing somewhere, subscribe here. All the money that we get from our subscribers goes back into the stream to do cool things like art and backdrops and microphones and giveaways, maybe even. So it'll be really fun. So you should do that. I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay.
I think everything in that art pack except for a Gaurau has tried to kill me.
No, yeah.
I mean, you guys haven't seen a Gaurau yet. There has been a
Gaurau ain't done it. Hide Behind's taking its shot.
Yeah.
The rope ride's
not
coming close.
Roland,
The rope
though,
ride's
right?
coming
Just-
closest.
No. I
Just
meant me, Dan.
Okay. And then the rope right on the stream
Yeah, you all saw that. A
yeah.
bird got me.
What about a copperbird? Has a copperbird tried to kill you before?
Yeah,
cave.
copperbirds in a cave tried to get me.
All
Yeah.
right. And then we've seen again in the stream the axe handle
Yeah,
hound.
dog almost got me with the axe handle.
Yeah, you had to do a sleep grenade to deal with that. And then what do we got? We got that's just the Gauro. Yeah. So that's it. The Gauro is the only thing in this packet that has not yet tried to kill Dan.
Also, if you guys are worried, I did want to point out that the one that Tommy is showing you guys, that packet is our personal packet, and we have copies, and Tommy's hands will not be touching the paper, and it'll be sanitary.
Sealed packets that will remain sealed when we send them to you. So
wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Anyway.
Okay, perfect. So let's do a little bit of a recap. Kinsey, Pax and Roland have been in the Badlands for a little while. They've been tracking down the missing Riveteer nomad pack. They found the Riveteers. The Riveteers were under attack by another nomad pack known as the Cloud Cutters. They found out that the leader of the Riveteers was, in fact, Kinsey's mother, previously known as Pikejaw, now known as Tusk. Kinsey thought she was dead. She's not, and she's okay. She was happy to see him, and so they joined Pikejaw and the remaining Riveteers in a glorious run down Split Boot Canyon, which resulted in the death of many of the Riveteers, with like a decent amount of them surviving, but their vehicles being destroyed. At that point, the leader of this little small branch of the Cloud Cutters invited the surviving Riveteers to join the Cloud Cutters and meet them at their camp. And that's eventually where Kinsey found out that the leader of this branch of the Cloud Cutters is his dad. Ferdinand Koenig, one of the high-ranking members of the Cloud Cutter Nomad Pack, in charge of this exhibition of the Cloud Cutters, has invited Kinsey into his camp, pronounced him his son and rightful heir, despite the fact that Kinsey's half-sister, Koenig's other child, Red Wheel, is like obviously better suited for the job. But instead, Ferdinand Koenig has been abusive and mean to her, and it's come and bitten him in the ass, because at the end of last session, Kinsey, who had been driven off by his half-sister, returned triumphantly to camp on the back of a extremely talented jackalope that he had tamed the night before. And he challenged his father to a nomad ritual known as Zimballis. Zimballis is a sort of challenge amongst the nomads, where the two vehicles in question are pitted against each other in a sort of race, where they have to do 4 laps on a agreed upon course. And either they need to be the first one to complete the 4 laps or be the last one standing, because they're allowed to shoot at each other and try to kill each other during this race. Kinsey challenged Koenig, which would have seemed like a foolish thing, because Kinsey does not have a vehicle. Instead, he just has a mount, and the rules of Zimballis kind of imply that you need it's vehicle on vehicle, not vehicle versus mount. However, through the extremely timely actions of Roland and Pax, Koenig was left with no other choice but to accept Kinsey's challenge, as Red Wheel would not stand up for him when Roland and Pax revealed to her Koenig's death letter, which basically was extremely mean, and then Pax, who sort of positioned herself as the third in command in camp, bossing around all the other outlaws in this camp. She kind of whipped the camp into a fervor where they were cheering on Koenig, and it would be really unsporting of him to say no at that time. He would lose some face. So instead, Koenig accepted the challenge. However, let's not forget that last session, Kinsey did roll a misfire or a grave misfire. It was a grave misfire when he challenged Koenig. So after that misfire, Koenig did feed some stuff to Kinsey's new jackalope, name of which is Umbra, and then accepted the challenge. And so we're going to do something a little crazy this session. Going into this session, I had an idea about how we could make it fun and interesting for everyone, because obviously a typical Zimballis, you have people in the vehicle with you, but on the jackalope, this whole team can't really do it. And so what I decided was we are going to do a little bit of a time jump. It was early morning when Kinsey issued his challenge to Koenig, and we'll say about 4 hours have passed, and it is now at the time in the middle of the day where the sun is the highest. We are going, that is when Zimballis is going to begin, and we are going to start at the beginning of the Zimballis. But obviously, I imagine these three drifters will have wanted to make preparations for said Zimballis. So I am going to give you all a special pool of grit, separate from your normal pool of grit. I'm going to give you each 8 special grit, and that special grit can only be used on flashbacks, to flashback to how you prepared for whatever weird thing happens during this Zimballis. You can do it at any time. You can say, I'd like to spend 4 grit to do a flashback, and then during that flashback, you'll have your other 4 grit you could save for a different flashback, or you could spend it on normal grit expenditures during the flashback. And that is how we're going to play through this session, assuming you all agree.
So to clarify, it's 8 grit that can only be spent on or during flashbacks.
Correct.
Cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay.
All right.
I have more than the maximum grit, you guys. I have 30 grit.
Do you have 20 grit? Do you have the most grit anyone's ever had?
No, I have 13 grit, so I have one more than.
Okay, so you still have the most grit anyone has ever had.
Yeah,
but not
I
now
have.
the most anyone ever could have had.
Okay. So, couple things. It's the middle of the day, and the Zimballis challenge was agreed to be the course of the Zimballis was agreed to be a run through Split Boot Canyon, all the way to the edge of the Mason Plateaus and back. So you start in the middle of Split Boot Canyon, you run to the edge of these plateaus, right on the like cliff edge. You turn around, you run back, and that is 1 lap. And you do that 4 times, be the first one to do it or the last man standing, and you win the Zimballis. Other things that have happened, just as a general note, prior to the Zimballis, Kinsey was more or less kept under lock and key. He was allowed to receive visitors, but for the most part, he was kind of supposed to stay in one place with his vehicle, or in this case, his jackalope. Same was done for Ferdinand, though you imagine that Ferdinand has a little bit more flexibility walking around the camp that he owns. But Kinsey was basically sequestered off to a housing pod where he could go in the backyard and everything, but like couldn't like wander freely.
He had to stay at home.
He had to stay at home.
I'm not familiar with that.
And the other thing that definitely happened between now and then is Umbra doesn't feel very good. I need you to roll a negate test for Umbra. I need you to roll a negate test at a -8.
Great. Well, that's very little possibility that I will be able to help.
Well, it's Umbra's stats, though, right?
Yeah, so Umbra uses body in place of durability, and then the target number is body +4. which I don't think is that great still.
No,
but you can because
it's not.
You did just
it's
level
exactly
up.
the same.
You did just level up and get make Umbra your official animal companion, which does mean you can spend grit for Umbra if you have grit to spend.
Only on flashbacks, and I want to save one of them just in case. So
that makes sense. So Umbra has to resist a tier 4 toxin, which is a -8 to the negate test.
Great. Yeah, that is 0 hits.
Okay.
I would have had to hit a 1.
I thought that might have been it. Okay, so Umbra does fall violently ill shortly after you've been sequestered away, Kinsey. Umbra begins showing signs of nausea. Umbra also takes 3 damage, direct to hit points. And this nausea is lasting way longer than it normally should. So the status effect for nausea is that all actions that Umbra takes, or by proxy you being on top of Umbra, anytime Umbra's physical attributes would come into play, finesse, muscle, or durability is going to be at a -2. Umbra's finesse, muscle, and durability actions are going to be at a -2. Not the stat, just the target number. Unless Umbra spends an entire combat turn vomiting. And then at the beginning of the next combat round, when initiative is rolled again, the -2 effect falls back into place. So you can either have all of your turns with the -2 effect on Umbra, or you can lose a turn to let Umbra clear his stomach.
Got it. Okay.
So the session begins with the Nomad pack has kind of spread out throughout Split Boot Canyon. Red Wheel is kind of up in like some of the more higher ground, like the highlands. She's driven up there with the bullwhip. And she has basically a very good line of sight during over like the beginning part of the Split Boot Canyon, and then will lose sight of the route for a little bit, and then also from a distance, probably with the aid of binoculars or a telescope, will be able to see both vehicles reach the edge of the Mason Plateau and then come back into Split Boot Canyon. So that's where she's posted up. The rest of the grunts are just spread all around, a decent amount of them kind of on either end, either by the plateau or by the part of the Split Boot Canyon where the route starts. The other agreement is that you can take any route you like through Split Boot Canyon as long as you end up at the bluff or at the plateau. So what I want to know, obviously Kinsey is there on Umbra, who doesn't look very good. Umbra's nose is very crusty and dry. His large eyes look a little like milky, and he's
been trying to feed him a little bit of water, and he doesn't seem to want to drink it.
Yeah, and he's moving very weakly. Doesn't look like the valiant steed you had when you rode into camp. Right. Meanwhile, right along the line with you is your father and his roadkin. And he is driving his vehicle, which is a hover car that is kind of a teal and orange color. And he it's strange because he is kind of sitting in the back end of it, elevated slightly above the seats of his roadkin. There's basically the engine sits underneath him, but then also there's kind of like grav stabilizers on the front on either end, making kind of a U shape at the front of this vehicle. And it is a sleek vehicle. It is pristine and high-tech looking. So my question is, Roland and Pax, where are the two of you at the beginning of this Zimballis?
I guess where is the rest of Red Wheel's roadkin?
The rest of the roadkin have gone to that summit with her.
Okay, then I'm probably there.
Okay. Red Wheel has been relatively quiet. The rest of the crew has tried to like keep the conversation kind of light around her, but she seems very pensive, and she's leaning up. She's sitting on top of the bullwhip, kind of leaning up against some of the armor plating, her arms crossed, kind of watching silently, not really engaging in anything that the roadkin are doing. Pax, what about you?
I'm at camp.
You're not watching the Zimballis?
No, I've already done everything I need to do.
Okay. Camp is like deserted. That's
the dream.
There's like maybe like one other person who had like drew the short straw and is like in charge of like watching the like ladder and like the archway. Like they got like one sniper posted, right? No, two. They have their two snipers posted outside camp, but no one is in camp except you and Kira. Because she's still in the cage behind your housing pod.
Yeah, I mean, because it's up on like a hill, right? So I figure I've got like a binoculars or whatever.
Scopy thing.
A scopy thing. So I figure I'll be able to watch the like actual like dust and check in on it, but like not see much, just like see how far it's gone. But yeah, I've already done all the things that I'm gonna do to affect the race. So
okay. So, Kinsey, it's time to do Zimballis.
I would like to flashback.
How did I know it was going to be Dan?
So it begins.
It's one of those things where, like, I was like, okay, I'll wait for my moment. I'll find something. Oh, wait. Yeah, so presumably, like, there is a guy who's going to, like, signal the start of Zimballis, right?
Yes.
Cool. I hand him the flare gun that will signal the start of Zimballis.
You hand him the flare gun that Tusk gave you?
Yes.
Absolutely. That flashback doesn't even require a roll. That flashback just does it. Yeah, there's so much going on that like you are very easily you can put yourself in a position to either swap the like whatever it is or just be like, yo, boss says this is the gun to signal, right? And the guy's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Absolutely.
Cool, that's me.
So Cloud Cutter steps out. Someone that you recognize, Pax, is kind of one of the ones who kind of like stepped underneath you and was semi-competent. He steps out, looks to to Kinsey and to Ferdinand and goes, "Both drivers ready? All right. Well then," and he cocks the flare gun and holds it up and he goes, "May the best nomad win. Zimballis!" And he shoots the flare up into the sky and it flies up and then like even from where you are, Pax, you kind of see the flare fly up and then you hear a distant Zimballis as the whole crowd is just like Zimballis, like the entire canyon from where you are all the way. It's like a chain as they hear it, right? To all the way to the point where, Roland, you can see like the people who are at the edge of the plateau. They have like the slight delay as the sound, like the chain kind of gets them, and then they're like,
they're doing the wave.
Yeah, they're doing basically, yeah. Sweet. Let's roll initiative for Kinsey and Ferdinand.
Let's
do it. So Kinsey, you and Ferdinand both automatically start at your lowest speed because you are stationary.
Okay. I've got a...
So I have a 7. What did you say you had?
A 7, yes. It's the same.
What's your awareness?
That's a great question. My awareness is 6.
6? Okay, so Ferdinand will go before you.
No, not surprising now.
Okay. So the flare gun goes up, the people shout Zimballis, and then instantly, as soon as the flare gun goes up, before the chorus kind of really like kicks off, Ferdinand kicks it into gear, and he is going to adjust his speed, and he does. And he just like flies off into basically the distance, leaving you sort of in it, not like quite in the dust, but he gets a healthy lead from the get-go, bursting ahead of you. The like big engine on the back of this car, like shoving it forward. Its hover tech kind of like kicking on and making it raise up an extra foot, and it zooms forward past this guy who's just shot the flare. And then he is going to try and mislead you.
Okay, great. That is opposed, isn't it?
Yes. So it's your handling versus his handling.
Cool. And sorry, am I rolling body or wrangle for that?
Wrangle.
Yes, that's right. Okay, wanted to make sure.
But basically every wrangle test is going to be at a -2 because it's all kind of contingent on your very sick jackalope. My highest is a 10.
I've got a high of 10.
Oh! Okay, so he is the aggressor, so he does get only 1 net success over you. So that means that he will have a positive modifier of +1 to his next speed-related test against you.
Okay.
And that's him, but immediately his roadkin take a couple shots at Umbra.
No, not fine.
So yeah, you can either you're basically it's a wrangle test. It's a wrangle test to protect Umbra.
Okay.
Oh dear. My highest is an 8.
Oh shit! I can't spin that grip. Well, my highest is also an 8.
Okay, so Umbra will get hit.
Yes.
Umbra takes... Yeah, sorry. I thought I had it ready. Umbra takes 6 damage with 2 armor piercing. Don't forget Umbra's toughness, though. Umbra's toughness always matters, even when Umbra's armor is destroyed.
It's just 2 armor for Umbra.
Yeah,
right?
it's 2 armor and 2 toughness.
It got smudged.
Yeah, it's 2 armor, 2 toughness. And the toughness persists even once the armor is blasted away.
Oh.
And then here comes the second shot on Umbra. You notice they're not shooting at you necessarily.
Okay. I like that even less, to be quite frank.
That makes sense. This guy didn't roll very well. He's only got a 6.
Well, I've got another high of 8 there.
Okay, cool. So, yeah. It kicks off. Umbra kind of pulls into a sloppy, reared back position. And then a bullet flies in and hits Umbra in one of his hind legs. And he kind of drops down, and you have to, hold on as his body kind of shifts sideways. And you kind of, kick him and pull. And he pulls back and kind of you use your weight to help him get back up swiftly enough that the other bullet whizzes past. And now it is your turn.
All right, and I'm going to give it just another rallying cry to see if I can get anybody behind me and go, Zimballis! And I'll squeeze Umbra with my legs and in the hopes of immediately taking off. And there's a... and just a spray of vomit comes out of Umbra's mouth.
I'm going to give you a grip.
That's my turn.
I'm going to give you a grip for that.
Thank you.
So here's the fun thing about this, because Umbra is the one who is affected by nausea. You can still do stuff. You're just now stationary. In this weird thing that your mount is affected by the toxin, it using its whole turn to vomit is kind of like your mount just becomes disabled for a second.
Then I'm going to take a shot at somebody.
Okay.
I think probably the one that hit Umbra. I'm going to shoot him.
Okay. So they have medium cover, so you're at a -2. Umbra's sickness, though, does not affect this, so it's just a -2.
I can already hear the stories they tell about the Zimballis years down the line. Just yeah, the jackalope just vomited immediately. But then, Kinsey shot a dude.
And I've got a high of 15 on that shot.
Well, I didn't roll very well. I have a high of 5.
Oh, great! That's 3 net hits. That's perfect.
How much damage does
my
that
accuracy is only 2.
Okay.
So that is a 12 damage with a piercing of 2.
Okay. Yeah, so that they are flying off, and they're kind of leaning out on either side of that kind of elevated cockpit that Ferdinand is in, and that one kind of gets a shot. You kind of get Umbra back up on his legs, and then you shout Zimballis, and then Umbra hunches over again, dropping down, putting his 4 legs down, and retches, and you kind of ride the retching motion, and then you kind of fall forward. You kind of fall forward and grab onto the front of you're riding him still no saddle, right? So yeah, you kind of brace yourself up against the horns, pushing yourself back with your gun ready, and then you see that guy reloading his gun and kind of taking a peek who just shot him, and you raise one leg up, pressing it against the back of Umbra's right horn to stabilize yourself as you kind of half sitting, half crouching on Umbra's back as he throws up. You take a clean shot at this guy. You hit him really hard right in the chest. He spins back, slamming against the console. He's still alive, but very heavily wounded, just blood gushing out of his chest.
Take that, you ruddy bastard!
And then Umbra shakes his head clear. You see his eyes a little bit clearer than before. Stands up on his hind legs and thumps his leg like 3 times, and like kind of like looks over his shoulder at you.
Are we doing this or what?
And now it is Ferdinand's turn. Yeah, Ferdinand is going to now use the change distance maneuver to pull ahead of you in this race.
Okay.
So it is, you may choose to oppose this. It's a speed test versus speed. Speed versus speed.
Absolutely.
And he does have a bonus to this because he kind of misled you. Oh, wow. Well, bonuses didn't matter. My high is an 8. All of these dice are successful. And the highest one is an 8.
Well, that's perfect because I got a high.
I have what?
A high of 9.
Perfect. So you got a 9. So you look over, Umbra looks over his shoulder at you. You make eye contact, and without you even like giving him a kick or anything, you give him that wink. You give him a little wink, and he just boosh, like bursts forward, and you manage to keep pace with Ferdinand's vehicle as he pulls ahead of you, and he's like swinging back and forth, and Umbra just like doesn't even care about his like fancy little maneuvers. Umbra's just like flying straight at it. And because that didn't work, he's going to use his other quick action to attempt to change the distance again. So it's another opposed speed test. He doesn't have his bonus this time, and my high is a 10.
Yeah, well, I've got a high of 9.
High of 9?
Hmm?
Okay. So, you will now move from close range to standard range. And that's it. That's Ferdinand. The one you shot really bad is going to kind of duck into cover and not take another shot, leaving the other one to take a shot at Umbra. So it's another wrangling test for Umbra. Oh, man. Okay, well, that's a decent roll. I got a high of 10. And you no longer had the
Another
minus 2?
high of 9.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Umbra takes another 6 damage with 2 armor piercing. Of course, subtract the toughness from that. And then that's it. That's their whole turn. The other person cowers and like kind of nurses his wound. Meanwhile, Roland, you're up there. This exchange happens and they kind of pull up and are about to like get out of your line of sight from your position. You're about to lose them in the canyon. And everyone is like, oh man. And like a couple of them are like, yeah, I don't know what that Kinsey was thinking. I mean, this jackalope versus car, I mean, sure, it's poetic, but I mean, it ain't practical. And someone else is like, but look at the speed on that thing. I don't know. And Kinsey took that shot. He might be able to clean Ferdinand out before he has a chance to finish the race. And they're like, nah. You think he's going to shoot his pappy? Come on. And the whole time, Red Wheel is just quiet, stoic, staring at the race.
I think when someone's like, you think he's gonna shoot his pappy? I will just respond, probably.
And Pax, what are you up to?
Sure. So, before I do anything, I would like to flashback.
Oh, okay. What do you flashback to do?
Okay, great. I would like to give I would like to ask Kira to make the traps that she made for me.
Yeah,
remote.
She made flashbangs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ask her to give you a remote for them.
Yeah.
She does. Yeah. She does it no problem.
Cool.
She's like,
Um,
sure. Let me take a look at them. Also, if there's no one in camp, I mean, I can get out of the cage. If
Yeah.
Oh wait, I have the key. That's right. Get me. She kind of gets out, stretches her legs and everything, and goes. And she's like grabbing the flash grenades she made. Basically, she starts tweaking them, and she goes, "I don't understand. That was one of yourn that I heard shouting a challenge, right?
Yeah.
What kind of plan y'all playing?"
If there is a plan, I have yet to know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Everything's gonna be fine. But I'm gonna go for a run. And I would like to at like strategic places where the like a place that they have to go through. I'd like to place the flashbang there.
Sure.
And then and then so I'll do the 3 that I have, and then I have one more from like a million years ago. And no, it's not a flashbang. It's just a grenade that Kinsey gave me. And I'd like to see if I can sneak that into Ferdinand's car.
The grenade?
Yeah, the grenade that Kinsey gave me.
Okay. We'll have you roll a sneak test. I'm gonna put it at a -6 because it's not as much you being able to sneak up on his car, which is already hard enough to do because he's like, tuning it up, his roadkin are checking it and everything. So to be able to sneak up there is already hard enough, but also planting it in a place where they won't notice is part of this test.
Okay, cool.
So sneak at a -6.
I should write this down somewhere. I keep on not writing it down somewhere.
Would I have to spend 4 grit to be involved in this flashback?
You're about to be involved in the flashback because I was going to give you the remote. So
not at all. Yeah, you don't have to. We are in flashback mode. Anyone's fair game.
Yeah, cool. I'll use motivational speaker.
Nice. So when does Roland get the opportunity to help Pax out here?
I mean, I think at this point, it's clear Zimballis is happening. It's clear there's certainly gotta be plans in motion. One of us 3 must have a plan here. And so either Pax tells me or I see her making her move, and then I just go be personable and sociable and distracting to Koenig's mechanics.
Okay. Cool. So go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll for motivational speaker.
Oh, fun. That's 5 hits. So go ahead and take a +5.
Nice.
okay.
Yeah. So Pax, you start creeping up, and there's a point where Roland is eyes you and you eye him, and then you take a few more steps and disappear from his line of sight. And Roland, your vision just kind of trails over to the side, and then you see the direction she was heading is where Koenig's crew is tuning up his vehicle. And so you just go, all right, and you just start walking that way.
Yeah, I head over there. I'm like, hey guys, listen, I know you got this. Red Wheel wanted to, sort of apologize for the bullet not being in shape. Send me over, give you guys any help you might need. If you guys need a hand, just extra set of eyes on something. Or,
extra set of eyes. Are you the one who should have been fixing up the bullwhip that ain't ready? You think you want you think we want your help?
I mean, hey, All I'm saying is it's a big thing. It's gonna look real bad if you lose to a jackalope. So like, I can leave, but
ain't no
I mean-
jackalope gonna beat the hurricane here. And they like slap the car with their hand.
yeah, but like, you know he's gonna shoot at you, right? So like, it's not just you gotta be faster.
Yeah, no, we ready for that too. For some reason, boss don't seem to care.
All right, guys, listen. I came over here trying to help you. I bet you got it, and it'll be fine.
All the while, Pax, how did you get on your sneak test?
Okay.
+5. Well,
Yeah, it makes it a total of a -1.
So I have a 15 high.
Okay, they have a 10.
Okay. I have 4 net hits.
Cool. You do it.
3 net hits. 3 net hits.
You do it so swiftly, like, it only takes that much time for you to sneak up, find a really nice spot to hide it in where you think they won't notice it. And then as you pull back, you have to, like, make yourself visible again for Roland to give him the signal, like, thanks. And then they're like, for whatever reason, boss don't care if we kill the rabbit. So we're just going to be shooting for that. It don't seem too tough. Big target, you know?
If
mean-
I'm so... Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
If I'm sneaky enough, could in that roll maybe it's okay if you say no, obviously. Can I just like grab like a bit of like dirt and just open up the gas can and just throw it in there and then like close the gas can?
I don't think you get to pull that off.
Okay, that's fine. I just thought of it. I
How
should have
many
just done
bananas
that
can
from
you
the
go?
beginning. No worries. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I go for a run.
Yeah. And you plant the charges, and you plant the charges. The planting the charges around the canyon is not does not require a roll, unless you want to try and determine like specific spots. Like basically like you're planting them randomly inside the canyon, basically, right? Like because the canyon kind of branches and comes back through like different tributaries or like past tributaries, basically, that like kind of branch out. But then like ultimately there's like very few like main paths that they can take. I assume you're putting them in those main paths where they're pretty guaranteed to move through.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Just
Like,
making sure you weren't trying to
the
like get
exit
inside
to
the-
like the flat or something.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Making sure you weren't getting inside the head of like Ferdinand and trying to figure out where he is.
Nah, he's got nothing in there.
Okay, so you plant all 3 of your flashbangs?
Yep, and then also the one that I hid in the car.
Cool. And you do all
and
this hours ago.
And then I'll just walk over to Roland and be like, the bottom one is in the car. So just so you know, that's
As you hand him the
also-
remote.
yeah, and just like these are for flashbangs that I put in the canyon. And then this one is like in the car.
Oh,
all right.
that's great.
Yeah. But you get to do it. I've got things to do. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to share or?
well, I'm not gonna watch the race.
Okay.
So I'm gonna instead do some other things. In you know, in case Zimballis goes badly. I don't know yet, but I feel like,
Sure.
you know.
All right. I mean, I trust you. Whatever you think.
I mean, if you come up with an idea, let me know. But like, I think I'm just gonna like, you know.
How long have we been traveling together, Pax? I don't have an idea until the moment before I do it.
That's why I really didn't. Okay, I'm
It's
just
gonna go great.
Also, you should maybe tell Kinsey that they're gonna shoot at his rabbit.
I feel like you'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right, flash forward. Kinsey, it's your turn.
Perfect. Now, I would love, first of all, to adjust my speed.
Yeah. So that just takes, it's an unopposed test. You just do that. You roll Wrangle. No penalties because you, Umbra cleared his stomach. Also, I just realized that, like, during these, like, non-combat flashbacks, that just switches over to, like, the main screen where there's no music. I'll do that next time. and then drop us back in the music when we're in the flash forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Question, am I, by any chance, in my element?
Yeah, you are in a canyon.
Excellent. I'm gonna use one of my reliability here.
Yeah, you are out in the wilderness for sure. There's aggro pelters like in that cave right there.
Alright, so that's 3 hits then.
Ooh. Okay, that was to adjust your speed?
That's correct, yes.
Alright, sweet. Yeah, you get to adjust your speed all the way. Yeah, you can go from bottom speed to top speed if you want.
I would like to do that, and that gives me a +1 to my speed test.
Cool.
Perfect. And then I'd also like to, if I may, change the distance
Trying
between
to
me
get
and my father.
back to close distance.
Trying to get close.
Alright. Wow.
I've got a high of
11? Okay. I have a high of 4.
Alright, well that's, what? 1, 2, 3... Yes, that's all 4 net hits. It was 2 4s, a 10, and 11. So that's...
So are you trying to get to close distance, or are you trying to get to, like, ahead of your father?
I'd like to get ahead of him now, yes. That's...
Alright, so you move from standard distance to close distance. You're now in the same spot. And then you move from close distance to standard distance. And how many net successes did you say? Was it 4?
It was 4.
Oh my god. So you go from from close to moderate. So now ranged attacks are at a -1. And that was 3. It was standard to close, close to standard, standard to moderate, and now you're at long range. As they've shot your jackalope a bit, and maybe they think that would slow it down, but it doesn't. Umbra doesn't seem to really mind the pain as he kicks it forward with all that he has, basically ignoring his wounds. And you manage to start like catching up, and like while the car has to like swerve around like debris and stones and stuff, Umbra just hops right over and keeps like closing the distance, getting a little closer with each hop. And then like they turn a corner, and then Umbra, like instead of like, they kind of have to like drift and slide around the corner, and Umbra just kind of with one swift jumps up, and you're ready for it because you rode him before. You pull in tight, almost hugging his neck, as he kicks up, like turns completely sideways and kicks off the thing, but not just like off to the side, like off and forward as like a launching pad, barely losing any speed. And they look back and they don't see Umbra for a second, and they like kind of like, huh? And then you boo land right in front of them, and then like they're like, what the hell? And then like you're trying, like you kind of block them a little bit, and they keep on having to swerve, and every time they swerve, Umbra just hops over the difficult terrain and keeps moving, and you just start gaining on them. And there's like another tight corner, and Ferdinand oversteers to try and compensate, and almost kind of turns the car too much with the drift and turns almost sideways and has to like kind of slide way to the side of the canyon to straighten himself out. And during that time, Umbra doesn't miss a beat, just full speed. So by the time Ferdinand kind of like gets the car back the way he needs, and like that guy who's really wounded is like leaning up, and like they both kind of look back to him, and like he shouts something angrily at them, and then they all look forward, and you're like very very far in the distance. All ranged attacks are at a -2 now, as you are at long range. And yeah, sure, you kind of turn back and kind of give them a little wave as you pull ahead, and the plateau edge is not very far. You're about to be able to. You're about halfway through the first lap.
It sounds like they're moving through a spot where there's maybe like not as good views for most of the people.
Yeah.
As they're like coming through these twists and turns. I for sure want to hit that grenade that Pax put in their car. Because if I remember correctly, it is not an explosive.
I have no idea what it is.
It's the skunk ape grenade that Kinsey never got to use.
Is that what it is?
Oh man!
Oh my God! Is that the grenade you gave her?
Absolute. Absolute. Perfect.
Oh my goodness.
Grit for everyone.
I'm glad you did that because I was going to use one of my flashbacks for that. That's perfect.
All of you have a grit. Oh my God. So Roland,
It's Chekhov's stink bomb.
Roland, you sit there and you're like, you have 4 buttons on this remote, and everyone else is talking. No one's really watching you. You kind of glance at this remote, and you're like, boop. Oh my God. Okay, so do you remember anything about the stats I applied to that?
Roll.
Yeah, tell me about this grenade. Tell me about this grenade real quick, Kinsey.
So yeah, that is a gas grenade with a standard quality negative tonic within that will be dissipated throughout the grenade. It is a nausea tonic. And then it is potent. Extra potent is what it says.
Oh, cool. So that means it's harder for them to resist it. So what? It's a tier 2
can't just puke it up.
Yeah, it's a tier 2 toxin,
Tier 2,
right?
yes.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm going to roll that for them, but it is 9 o'clock. So, all of you there in the chat, it is time for us to put up the giveaway word. So if you're in the chat, we're going to pop a word up here next to Roland and Pax, just there under the episode number. You post that word in the chat. Only do it once. If you do it too many times, you'll be disqualified. So post the word in the chat, and then that will enter you for a chance to win this very, very cool art by Crystal Soli, signed by Crystal Soli. It's very cool, and you want it. All right.
Super cool.
There is the word right there. Zimballis! So yeah, everyone in the chat, shout your best Zimballis, and we'll keep that word up there for a little bit, and then we will take a break, and then we will count all the entries and randomize who is the winner. So now's your chance. If you're in the chat, shout out your Zimballis. Meanwhile, during the Zimballis, I have to roll some negate tests now.
Sure do.
We've just done like the absolute worst version of sticking a fish in someone's air conditioner.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Okay. That's not a good roll. Tier 2 tonic, right? Okay, cool. So that puts that at -4. So cool. So Ferdinand is actually okay.
But it's
Is that
extra
true?
potent too, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually
He's extra pit.
So extra potent, the way it works is, so the two tags that tonic has, the 2 properties it has, is nausea and extra potent. And what extra potent does is it makes it so that the first success that is rolled has to be used to get rid of extra potent. But Ferdinand managed to roll 2 successes, so he does get rid of the nausea. But the other people in that car, let's see how well they do.
Oh, there's gonna be so much barf in that car.
Not so
Can
sleek
that count
anymore,
as
is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that guy gets rid of the extra potent, which means nothing. So yeah, Kinsey, you give them the wave, and like you keep riding, and then you kind of like glance back every once in a while, and as you glance back, you see like along like the underside where like the armor paneling around the car is, like in that kind of U shape where the stabilizers are. There's this kind of gas kind of floating up and like wafting back, and all of them are like, and Ferdinand like goes like, ugh, and like reaches back and grabs like the visor of his like cockpit and slides it down. It's like, and like keeps on his controls. But the two guys with guns, like they are retching. They're like coughing and they're like, what the hell? And they're trying to figure out where it is as this this device that that Pax has attached under, like in the inside of the hull, is just like filling their area with skunk ape stank. Musk was the word I was thinking of. As they are retching, and you know that if they don't want to have -2 to shoot you, they're gonna have to throw up a bit.
Well done, Roadkin. Well done.
Cool. So that was. So you did a quick action to change distance. Did you do another quick action?
Yeah, the other quick action was to adjust the speed.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we move back to Ferdinand and his Roadkin's turn. Okay. So the two that are just breathing in full-on skunk ape, they grab the sides of this thing and start like hurling over the side, and like you're traveling at very high speed, so it's just like like it's bad, it's not good. The whole like right side of one guy's face and the whole left side of another guy's face is just like blah, as
that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's so gross.
So that happens when you throw up out the side of a car at high speed.
Yeah.
It does like splatter, like Ferdinand's little cockpit just gets splattered, and he's like, ah! He turns on a little windshield wiper.
We fucking wacky racers now.
Didn't know Zimballis had this much vomit in it.
So that's their turn. Ferdinand, yeah, they have to spend their whole turn doing that. Ferdinand is going to try and catch up. First thing he's going to do is he's going to try and mislead you, or draft you, rather, because he's in the back. So it's going to be an opposed handling test.
Perfect. And right now the handling is on the first square, correct? So I get that bonus.
No, wherever your speed is, like they go together. They move together. Yeah, when you adjust your speed, you also adjust your handling.
That's a question I could have asked earlier.
Oh my god. So I have an 11.
Alright. Yeah. Oh, I suppose no, that would be for the weapon. No, I won't use it just yet. I've got a high of surely that can't do. Fuck it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend 2 grit to play to the gallery.
Oh, what's that give you?
2 15s, which I have to re-roll.
Oh, wow. That makes my 4 11s really weak.
You know what? You caught a break on this one because it's just 1 15.
That doesn't matter. I'm the one who's trying to do stuff. I was so happy with my 4 11s. I was like, hell yeah, this is going to be great. I'm going to get 4 net successes.
That's what you thought.
That's what I thought. But that's what Ferdinand thought too. So that was Ferdinand's quick action, was to try and give himself a bonus on his following action, which is going to be to try and catch up. He is going to change distance. So this is an opposed speed test. Oh, good. Goody. So my high is a 13.
Shit. Well, my high is a 5.
Aha! So you were at long range before?
Right.
But now you move from long range back to standard range. Range attacks are only at a -1 now. Or sorry,
0.
0. There's no modifier to range attacks. As he like wipes the windshield on his thing, and then like he is focused. You see like a certain rage in his eyes as he watches this jackalope get the better of him, and there's a point where basically like you get on a straightaway, and in that straightaway he finds a nice clear path, and he just guns the engine, and in a straight on like dead side by side running straight forward, the car very clearly has an advantage over Umbra, and sure enough he's gaining closer and closer to you. As you get to the edge of you've broken out of the canyon, and you're flying out to the edge of the Mason plateau, and Roland, you see like gas like wisping off of the hurricane as it gains on Kinsey, and everyone like some of the people in Red Wheels Roken are like, what the hell happened? The hurricane looks like shit. What are they doing?
I don't know, man. I told those guys to double check under the hood.
And when you say that, Roland, you've kind of been keeping an eye on Red Wheel. She does for a second glance towards you, and her like eyebrow gives you just the slightest like upturn, as she kind of like gauges what you said and seems to read a little more into it. And Kinsey, you skid to a stop, and you turn around and you see that rage in your father's eyes as he's driving towards the edge of the steps, and you hop over his car as he skids to the edge of the plateau, the back where he is hanging precariously over the edge of the plateau as he sweeps around, and then the two of you whoosh, start making your way back, but he's right there on your heels. And that is his turn. As they make their way towards the end of the first lap, that is where we're going to take a break, and we're going to randomize who in the chat who has shouted the word Zimballis will get their very, very cool art packet. So we're going to take a quick break here. It is 9:12 right now. We'll be back by 9:20 Central. So about an 8-minute break. We'll see you on a little bit. We'll see what happens. we're back.
Zimballis.
Zimballis.
All right, so we are back from our break. We took count of the Zimballis in the Zimballi in the chat.
The plural of Zimballis is Zimballis.
And we went ahead and randomized to see who got this lovely art bundle. And the winner is MC Argetlom. Woo!
Yeah! Argetlom.
Who says the Zimballery? So Argetlom, congratulations on your super dope, cool art packet. So reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Send us a private message in some form. You can even email us at manifesttherepg@gmail.com. Let us know what your shipping address is, and we will pack this up and send it in the mail post-haste. Congratulations. Great. There you go. You got it. For everyone else in the chat, worry not. We are going to be doing another giveaway this Tuesday. That's right. Just a few days from now, we're going to drop another giveaway on y'all. It's going to have another art packet available for giveaway. So tune in next week, which is the 5th, May 5th. We will have another packet of just amazing art from Crystal Soli up for giveaway. But let me move us back into initiative.
Oh, man. All right.
So, when we last left off, a whole 10 minutes ago, Kinsey, you were racing back towards the end of the first lap, partway through Snake Boot Canyon. Ferdinand is right on your heels, and it is your turn.
Yeah, well, if he's going to move himself into standard range, then I suppose I'm going to cut him off. Which is, I believe, an opposed handling.
It is. Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Well, that's very important.
Well, did you get no hits? Because I got a 1.
Can't. Oh, and I'm the aggressor? Perfect!
You get a 1? Like,
I rolled a 1, a 15, a 15, and a 16. So I was like just out of range. That's perfect. I love that.
oh, like father, like son. Yeah, he pulls up on your tail, and then you just kind of have you give a slight kick and a click of the mouth to Umbra, and he takes your meaning, and he just kind of hops up for a second, just straight up as he's kind of leaping forward. He does one bound that's really high, and the car kind of pulls under, and they look up. You know, the two guys who are wiping their mouths are looking up, and Ferdinand kind of pulls the sheet back to take a look. And you kind of are right up, and then you just land right in front of him, and he instinctively pulls to the side. And yeah, you do cut him off. Which means he has to immediately make a handling test to an unopposed handling test with a negative of 1.
So they're coming right back into the canyon, right?
Yes.
In the spot that you definitely have to come back through into the canyon, right?
Yes.
Man, it would suck if a flashbang went off in his face right now.
Yes.
I do that.
Okay. Let me see here. Gotta go to my explosives. So yeah, you press the button, and sure enough, I put them in the weirdest spots.
I just remember like one of the very early rules documents where blow up good was like the North Star of finding explosives and then the things around it.
Oh man, that was such an early version. That's amazing. I forgot about that. I love it.
Okay. So every net hit will reduce the target's initiative by 1, and also they'll have a -2 to their next turns. So it's a small explosive. We'll have Pax roll a machinery test in assistance to Roland's observe test, to have set the bomb up in a decent spot, and then Roland will have to time it right.
Okay. Kia. Oh no, that's such a bad roll. Both of you go to jail forever. Aha! I have a hit.
It's a +1 for you, Roland. Now, Roland, you have some talents that help you with long distance observe tests, right?
I do have clear sight.
Okay. So that will make the penalty only a -1, which then gets eliminated by Pax's +1.
Okay. I imagine it would, if it would be weird, I don't do this, but if it wouldn't seem weird, I would be watching from this distance through the scope on my rifle.
That wouldn't be weird at all. I kind of assumed you were doing something along those lines.
Nah, it doesn't actually have enhanced sights. Never mind.
Wait, don't you have binoculars? Didn't you make binoculars a while back?
I probably did. I'm pretty sure I did, but I seem to have not written them down.
It's okay.
So.
Like I said, a lot of them are watching with that kind of stuff, so it's not hard for you to grab one of their things and take a look.
Okay. So it's just no modifier?
No modifier, yeah. You and Pax eliminate the modifiers.
Cool, okay. Oh, that's I don't know. I mean, it's okay, Rob. It's 2 hits.
What's your highest?
My highest is a 10.
Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah. So 2 hits puts it... Boom. So you get it at medium range, which lowers its power just a little bit, which just means it does less damage.
Oh, it's not opposed though, right? This is me placing it well.
Yeah, this is your timing, right? Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll spend 2 grit and just twist the knife.
It's 3
sure.
Hits. So now it's 3. So it's you do it exactly right. And that means they're at a -2. That's not great. Okay. So the grenade goes off. Kinsey, you land down and then leap forward, and then there's a slight flash in the corner of your vision that you don't quite see. And Roland is just this directional, bright strobe that hits.
I time it perfectly, so it looks like Kinsey could have dropped a flashbang behind him.
Absolutely. And it bursts, and you see them swerving a little bit. So They are going to be at a well, first off, probably most importantly, you do reduce their initiative, which does mean they don't have any more turns.
Suck it, nerds.
They were going to get another turn. You just made that not happen. And then they take a little bit of non-lethal damage, nothing too big, but probably most importantly, they're at a -2 now, and Ferdinand has to try and... you did this right before Ferdinand failed the cutoff, so in response to Kinsey succeeding at cutting off, Ferdinand has to roll a test to retain control of his vehicle. But he's at a -2 now. Holy wow. So Ferdinand actually manages to retain control of his vehicle. As that flash hits and all of them like pull back and like close their eyes off to the side, they seem like you can kind of see like the two who are like still feeling kind of sick, blinking and like holding themselves steady as like their sickness is starting to creep back up as like the world is like spots and spinning. But Ferdinand managed to kind of avert his gaze and look back, and like while he loses a little bit of control because you land right in front, he manages to swerve up against the wall and swing right back behind you. So that was a quick action to cut off Kinsey?
Yeah.
All right, it's still your turn.
You know, I think there is something I'm trying to prove here. So I'm going to again change the distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he is still at a -2 because that lasts until the end of his next turn, which he doesn't have until the initiative is rolled again. So my highest is a 9.
It's alright. I've got a high of 13, 1 net success then.
Okay, so you move from standard range to moderate range. As the time it takes him to kind of swerve up against the side and swing back into the canyon, you've already gained on him a little bit, moving a little bit ahead. And he's blinking away spots in his eyes as he's trying to like focus on you and watch for the terrain so he doesn't like spend time like ramping up off of like rocks and stuff that he could have avoided. And Kinsey, it's gonna be your turn again.
Might as well.
Because Ferdinand is out of initiative as per the stun grenade that Roland set off on him.
So I think first I'm going to take a shot. I'm trying to decide. I'd like to take. I think I'm going to take a cold shot at the Hurricane's engine.
To try and mess up its speed, perhaps.
Please.
Alright, well, my highest is a 7.
It's a quick action. I just realized it's a quick action, which means it has to be my light firearm.
No, this is the beginning of a new turn.
Right. But
If you want to do another quick action, it has to be your light firearm.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
I think I am going to use it. I can do more damage with that if I hit.
Your rifle or your light firearm?
Light, yeah.
Are you using your rifle or your light firearm?
The light firearm, yeah.
Okay, cool. So Kinsey, like, swiftly slings his rifle over his shoulder, reaches down, pulls out his light firearm, and just sets a burst out at the at the hurricane. So you are at a -2, Kinsey, because you're taking a cold shot.
Yes.
And my highest is a 7.
Well, that's jolly good. I do a little bit of damage because that is a 1 net hit.
Okay. So how much damage does the vehicle take?
It will take 5 damage with 2 PS.
All right. So it kind of you let this shot off, and it's kind of like ping, like kind of bounces off of the armor. Seems pretty inconsequential, and like you look back over your shoulder at Ferdinand, and he's got both hands on the controls, and he's just staring right at you, kind of blinking. His eyes clears, and he just like looks at you, and he starts to smile a little bit as your shot kind of ricocheted off, and then a panel goes and like smacks against his like cockpit, and he's like and a little bit of smoke starts like kind of like sputtering out of the engine, and yeah, you get your cold shot effect. You affect his speed. Yeah, I will lower his speed values by 1.
And then I'm going to adjust my speed. Change my distance once.
Okay. That is an opposed speed test, which you just gave him a -1 to. Aha! My high is a 7 again.
Oh dear! Fuck!
I never knew how much I needed a Kinsey episode.
This is going so poorly. I don't.
What are you talking about? You're doing great.
I'm doing great, but my rolls are being so weird. Like I'm doing it by the skin of. This one does fail, and it is, I believe, a grave miss.
Oh no!
No, wait, no,
What?
wait,
Okay.
no.
Yeah,
You
so
said you rolled how many dice?
4 dice, 2 of them rolled at 20, and it failed.
Yes.
I've got a high of 6,
Yes.
so.
Now you can spend grit to downgrade that misfire if you want, if you have the grit to do it. Otherwise.
Wait, how much do you need? How much grit do you need?
You can't give that
Because
grit.
if it's 1, you've probably hit enough triggers.
Yeah.
That actually is true. Yeah, well, I've only got 1 grit. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you
How
can't
much
get
I
that
need
on
to
triggers.
scrape by. Yeah, I get 2.
I mean, yeah, if you guys get your triggers right, you can get grit in the middle of the session. We don't always have to talk.
I mean,
about
I've
them.
certainly not hesitated to commit to a dangerous course of action. So,
Yes.
And several traps have been utilized successfully.
Yes.
So that's not,
Right. We can figure out the
But
rest
that
later.
still
You got your.
that leaves me with 2 grit.
Yeah. So you get a grit, but that's only 2 grit. Okay. So yeah. So you're trying to kick Umbra into speed. You get that shot on your dad's car, and you're like feeling it, and you kind of lean in and like pull on the fur around Umbra's neck, and Umbra starts like rushing forward. And what I'll do. Is you like kind of yank a little bit. You look back at your father a second time, and you yank a little bit on Umbra, who's not ready for it, and you kind of steer him into some rough terrain, and he struggles to jump over it. He jumps over it not as cleanly as he has in the past, because he like had a path that he wanted to go, but you yanked him in the wrong direction, and so he kind of leaps and like hits things and like stumbles. He lands on his feet and like kind of keeps it, but it's like kind of that like constant like falling motion as he tries to like keep himself from actually falling.
Right.
And in that moment, two things are going to happen. Well, 3 things are going to happen. 1, you misfired while you were using an item, so the quality of your firearm is going to go down by 1. That's just how misfires work.
Great. Yeah.
Which was it high quality at this time?
No, actually, I just realized I never fixed it, so it was at standard quality and is now at poor quality.
Yeah, it's at poor quality now.
But this test was on the change distance, not the shot.
Hey, that's a good point.
Oh, sure. All right, fine. So it doesn't go down in quality, but the other two things still happen, which is, because your mount can't go down in quality.
It's a bad rabbit now.
So two things then happen. One is you drop that gun. Your pistol, you're not ready and you haven't fully holstered it, and it falls out and drops to the ground behind you.
Sure.
So you no longer have your pistol. And then the second thing is that your speed is going to drop all the way down.
Oh my goodness gracious! Oh my.
As like basically stumbling and like hopping on one leg to like stop from falling completely over. Umbra struggles to get control again, and then does kick off admirably, but you don't feel like you have that momentum that you previously had. And that's your grave misfire.
The jolt does make him a little queasy too.
Well, that's coming up. I thought about doing that, but it's about to be the end of. Because that's, I mean, that does happen because we are going to roll initiative again. Yeah. Kinsey, roll initiative.
Let's do it.
Roland and Pax, what are the two of you up to while this is going on?
I would.
This is, I will clarify, this is happening right as, like, Kinsey is approaching the end of the first lap. Basically, as you kind of get to that moment where you have to, like, turn and run back, like, that's when you have the moment where you steer, Umbra astray and lose all of your speed, as your father, while his car is still smoking and kind of has a gas chamber around it, he does manage to swing smoothly into position to follow you cleanly, Kinsey. And you enter lap 2.
With a very low initiative, as it turns out, it's just my static initiative because I have no hits.
You got 4?
4.
All right. Ferdinand has 6. Pax and Roland, what are you up to?
I would like to openly walk over to Ferdinand's, like pod tent thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Go in.
So you walk up to Ferdinand's pod, you look back, you see like the dust has made it back to the end of the first lap, and it looks like they're about to like make their way into lap 2. You hear like and you look, and then you slide open Ferdinand's housing pod. You look around and you step in.
Yeah.
You do.
Okay. Nobody's in here?
Doesn't seem like it.
A likely story. Okay. Well, I have flashbacks to a time when I messed up another archvillain's bedroom. So
you're just kind of standing in there looking around?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go, like, look at the table with the map on it, you know, like, erase some marks, write some different ones. Like, I'm being loud and noisy and I was expecting someone to be here, but if not, I'm just gonna, like, mess stuff up, take and like papers and like, you know, like take all the stuffing out of his bed so like it's pointy at night and like
pour all his ink into his shoes.
Yeah.
So Pax, you walk in, you look around, like kind of on edge, nothing happens, and you relax a little bit, almost a little disappointed, and you kind of walk over casually to the map with the with the like this area of the Badlands. You kind of look at it, kind of look to see if there's anything under it. There's not. You kind of tap that table a little bit, and then you're like, all right then. And then you start moving your way towards the bed, and you flip a knife out, and you go and you kind of like grab the knife. Or grab the bed with one hand. You gotta get the knife ready so you can cut some of the stuffing out. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a shape that wasn't there in the room. And you look up, and standing in front of the doorway is a member of the Ophidian clan that you've recognized before, from when you dropped Kinsey off with Ferdinand the first time. And whose ankles you've seen before from hiding underneath the table. So you can identify this as Techt. He stands there looking at you. You didn't hear him come in, and he has seemingly willingly revealed himself to you. He is holding a bow and has an arrow. It is knocked on the string, but the bow is not drawn.
Okay. I would like to flash back.
Okay.
I would like to flash back to a time after we've returned to the Ophidians when Sky is better.
Oh, wow. Flashing way back.
Way back. And as we're packing up to leave, I'd like to find Sky and be like, I don't know if we're going to find your clansmen. But I was wondering if you wanted to maybe like write them something that like would make them believe that we've been with you, that you're okay, maybe tell them what happened. But just sort of, you know, it sounds silly if we find them and they're like, and we're like, yeah, everything is fine, and you know, you're not cursed or whatever. And I just thought, or like, even if you just have something to say to them, maybe.
You know, I've been thinking about. At first, I thought I had hoped they were alive, but I thought they must have fallen to the curse. But now that I know that our understanding of the curse is not complete, and that they could, in fact, still be alive, I've thought about what I would want you to say to my brother if you found him. But I don't know why he wouldn't have come back. I don't know. I can't imagine you'd find him alive. If he was alive, he would return.
Well, I don't.
Instead, I don't have words for you to share with him. Instead, I would ask that, should you find his body, you bury him with this. And she reaches back into her pouch and pulls out, it's like a strand of some kind of fur that has been braided together. And it's got a few different like stony beads on the end of it. It doesn't like, it's not like a bracelet, it's not like closed or anything, it's just like one strand with something, and then at the very end of it is an arrowhead. And she just holds it out to you and goes, we always thought if we were to fall, we would fall together.
Of course. You know, there's still hope. You're okay. And maybe they didn't have a way back.
Well,
maybe they'll be okay.
If that's the case, He better bring that back to me.
Okay.
Let's get going.
Okay.
Flashback complete.
Uh,
There he is,
and,
tacked, looking at you, not quite with malice, but with an unscrutable expression, arrow in hand, watching you.
Mm-hmm. So I will set my knife down, just on the bed. I mean, it's not like I don't have others, but as a show of good faith. And then I'll just like reach into my pocket.
Just the slightest tug on the arrow string as you do.
And I'll like grab out a thing like this out of my pocket, and then I'll like open it up so it falls like in a dramatic fashion. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, Sky told me to bury you with this, or to bring it back with you when you return to her. You see, she was really sick, and because she left the compound. And then she got better. They had to do more research, so she couldn't come with us. But did you want me to bury you with this, or did you want to return it to her?
You can roll either intimidate or manipulate.
Okay.
And I will give you a +6. It's +4 for the amount of grit you spent on the flashback, and then a +2 for extra bits and pieces of information that you don't have.
Okay, 6.
I wonder if perhaps this item is significant to him.
What?
All right. Well, he probably can still withstand my 11 I'm rolling for. But we'll try. We'll see. Should I spend 2 to bamboozle? No.
Well, he could have rolled better. He has a 9.
Okay. So I have an 11 high, and a 9.
Oh, well, you are the aggressor in this instance. Yeah, so you say that to him. He looks at that. His fingers relax on the arrow string a little bit. And then he goes, "Tell me everything."
I do.
All right.
But like in a quick fashion, because
Yeah.
I have other stuff to get to now.
Well, obviously, we cut away. For dramatic.
Well, you see.
Roland, are anything going on with you up on the thing before we move back to Ferdinand and Kinsey?
Probably nothing like too extravagant. I think I have over time like settled in relatively close to Red Wheel as I watch what's going on, but I'm not working at this point.
Sure. Okay. All right. So nothing interesting yet happens to you, Roland.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just keeping an eye out for Red Wheel's reactions, see how trying to gauge how she's feeling, and then seeing what the rest of the Roadkin are doing. I mean, I assume we had a talk at some point as Roadkin of just what we were gonna do while this was going on, and Red Wheel settled on we're gonna just go here and watch.
Yeah, she gave a very everyone was super tense and everything, and she just was like, "The hell y'all waiting for? We got a Zimballis to watch. Let's go." Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can absolutely roll, because you have playing the player, you can roll manipulate to try and actually blend to try and read Red Wheel as she tries to, play it
Sure.
cool.
Sure.
She has a 6.
I have 3 net hits over a 6.
Okay, cool. You can tell, like, watching her, she's very conflicted during this. There's a part of her that clearly is almost, like, hesitant to be excited by the idea of Ferdinand losing, right? In those moments where Ferdinand, like where Kinsey bests Ferdinand, she has flashes of like internal conflict, like she shifts uncomfortably or like breathes in slightly, like there's like, that's the moment where she's most like seems uncertain of what her reaction should be. But in the moments when Kinsey is on the back foot, the moments where Kinsey messes up or Umbra gets hurt, you can tell that like she clearly feels bad about those things, right? Ferdinand, she is conflicted. Kinsey, she feels bad when Kinsey's on the back foot.
She's not sure how she feels about Ferdinand, but she knows that she hates it when he does bad shit to her family.
Yeah. Which like you also like you see every time that happens where she feels bad, you also see like her like shift or tense up as she almost shakes off those like familial like instincts where like, because she was gonna kill Kinsey like the other day, right? Like, but then she didn't. She sent him away, and now like it's like that little like instinct to like let her brother or half brother live has like been like it's like a needle that is growing and every time she's like nah he's nothing to me, I barely know him.
Yeah, I'm not even really sure like what I would say, but I will like casually encourage that, right? Like talking around it sort of, right?
Okay. Sure.
I genuinely don't know like what I would say to do that, but sort of, like commenting on like, the clear mismanagement of like of Koenig's car or something, or like like hell of a move from the jackalope there, stuff like that, right? Where like I'm not like, Kinsey is your brother, care for him.
Yeah, but yeah, you're like, damn, nice move when like Kinsey does like a thing, and then you're like, oof, when like Ferdinand does a dumb thing.
Yeah.
It is Ferdinand's turn. Move us back into initiative. So it's Ferdinand's turn. Remind me, we are at standard range right now, or did you make it to moderate?
No, I made it to moderate.
Okay. So Ferdinand is going to use a quick action just to try and change distance. So that is speed on speed. Oh man, Ferdinand, you could have rolled so much. You know what? Yeah, I'm spending grit. I'm gonna spend grit to make my own luck. So Kinsey, you can take a grit.
He's still at a -2 from the flashbang, right?
Yeah, until the end of this turn.
Nice.
You said it was a speed test, yes?
Yes.
Good, thank you.
Well, so he has a 9.
That's he's the aggressor, yeah?
Yes.
Two net hits over and that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So even with Umbra obviously like feeling sick again and attempting to try and regain his footing, you're Seth, you should. Oh, no, man, you're good. Your video just went pure pixels for a second. Okay. even with Umbra, like, obviously feeling weak again and feeling a little wretched, and also, like, stumbling from that like, mishandling, even with that, Umbra's determination seems, like, solid. It's like, you can tell that, like, Umbra has identified the hurricane and, by proxy, like, the people within the hurricane as a threat. And his, like, survival instincts almost kick in. And even though he is hurt and feeling sick, he just starts, like, rushing. His head is, like, swinging back and forth as he tries to keep his head clear. And he's, like, his, like, muscles are tense. You can feel them tensing underneath your, like, thighs. But the legs keep moving. And this is the same course that he has already been on before, and it seems like he remembers it as he like jumps up and bounces off a wall and keeps going, and Ferdinand has trouble catching up. And then he shouts something angrily at his two roadkin, and the one who's really wounded, like, leans forward and pulls out, like, an Omni tool, and the other one, like, grabs it and leans forward, and they start tweaking that little spot that you shot. And they spend their turn not vomiting, but instead doing something that won't require physical skill. And it is, they're going to undo the called shot penalty you put on him and adjust his speed accordingly. And that's their turn. And then Ferdinand is going to try and change distance a second time. So it's another speed test. He did worse this time. How did he do worse this time? I got grit. I'm making my own luck, Kinsey. Take another grit, Kinsey.
I'll take it.
I roll a 5. Well, my high is an 8.
Alright, I'm going to use 3 of these to go it strong and go against any negative modifiers.
Yeah, you are at a -2 right now because Umbra is feeling not great.
Right, and like that. Now, because of that, does that also get rid of my negative speed modifier, or is it just the sickness?
No,
Okay.
all negative modifiers. You are rolling just a straight test.
Yeah. In that case, I'm going to use my second use of in my element and use one of my free reliability.
All right.
That's fine. Don't help me at all. That's just 1 net.
That's all you need. Did you have 1 net success before you spent that grit?
Yes. No.
No.
I had. It wasn't the grit. It was the in my element. So I'll take that.
Yeah, take in your element.
Right,
back.
right,
you don't
right.
need to do that.
Oh, I was the one. You're right.
Let's do
I'm
the
sorry.
one.
I got
It's
excited.
like you're getting shot, but instead of a bullet, it's a car.
Yeah, the car is trying to get close enough to be a bullet. All right.
Right.
So that is Ferdinand and his crew's turn. It is back to Kinsey.
All right. This time I am going to. I think I'm going to flashback here.
Ooh.
So I'll spend 4 of those flashback grit. I think, so when I came back to the Zimballis, I took off Ferdinand's jacket, which I had borrowed, and thrown it on the ground in a dramatic fashion. I would like to have hidden one of the gas grenades in that, and I'd like to get him to wear it for this race. So I'm going to say I'll throw off the jacket, and after I've done my whole, challenge you to Zimballis, and he accepts, and we do. And I say, and that jacket there, I remember that jacket. That's why I took it. My mother explained, she described this red, long trench coat and how you looked so dashing in it and how it made her feel so much love for you when you betrayed her. Now, I never want to see that jacket again. If I do, I'll set it on fire.
All right, yeah. That does feel like a manipulate.
I know, and that's the hard part of this.
I would like to use my second use of motivational speaker.
Yeah!
I can't think of like a phrase to say or anything, but basically what I start in the crowd is like when someone's delivered a very good burn on a TV show with a live
You're
audience,
like,
I just start to like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, roll manipulate as an assist. I love this game. I love it.
Okay. So that is 4 hits.
Okay, yeah. The crowd starts murmuring. They're like, "Oh my god, oh my god!" Oh. And like, Roland, you don't quite throw your voice, but you do affect multiple different voices in the murmur. That's like, oh, I always thought he looked really good in that jacket.
That jacket? That was his wife's? Damn.
That's, man, I mean, he should probably just get rid of that jacket. It seems like Kinsey really doesn't like it.
Man, if he wore that during the race, can you imagine?
Yeah, Kinsey, you got a, what was it, a +4?
Yeah, it's a +4.
Yeah.
Well, that's correct. Oh, yeah! It's a high of 10.
I got an 8.
Alright, well, I only could roll 1 die, so that is one net success.
That's okay, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, so you got a partial.
Would more successes in this instance...
Could I use my flashback grit to deny?
Yeah, this is in the middle of a flashback, so yeah.
Alright, so it counts for this. Can I do it twice?
I mean, yeah, so you can use twist.
I'd like to accept all of my grit in one fell
This
swoop.
is the most bonkers session. I love it so much.
So yeah, Kinsey, he is wearing that jacket. And what's more is as you made it back to the housing pod, you dramatically looked over your shoulder at him, and he's staring at you, and he glances down at the jacket, glances at you, and you grit your teeth, and you're so mad. And then he steps forward, grabs the jacket, and like in a very dramatic swooshing motion puts it on, and then like pops the collar and goes,
Ooh.
"See you in Split Boot Canyon, son." And then he walks off and doesn't notice at all that there's a grenade in the pocket. And doesn't notice for 4 hours.
I hit it really well in that combat.
Clearly you did.
Right, so now to set this grenade off.
Actually, even better. Yeah. What happens is off screen where you don't notice. It's as he like gets to the hurricane shortly after his altercation with you. He's like, "All right, let's make sure everything's good." And when he jumps in to mess with the controls, it rolls out of his pocket and under his seat.
Oh my god, he's in an enclosed capsule.
Yeah.
Oh
He
my
certainly is.
gosh.
Was that an action or where were?
No, it was a flashback.
That was a
I used all
flashback.
of my grit for a flashback.
But it is your turn.
Now I can do my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right. All right. So to be clear, the grenade is under his seat and it's set off by the controls that you have, right?
No. So this grenade is not part of the controls Pax setup because that was a separate grenade that you gave Pax.
So I'll have to shoot it.
You could shoot it. I would let you as like a additional part of your flashback if you wanted to roll like machinery or something like that. You could try and set it on a timer or set it on a remote switch. But also, if you didn't want to do that, you could try and shoot it.
Would machinery require me to have a machinery cube to put
No,
on top?
no. You'd just be augmenting it.
Fuck it, I've got my rifle. I'm just going to shoot.
Fantastic. So it does have medium cover, so it's a -2. But there's this moment as you're making your way through the second lap, and he's trying to close in on you. You look back and you see that like in the like motions he's made, that smoke grenade has kind of just like bounced up and lodged itself behind him, and he hasn't seemed to notice it. But you get a clean shot at it as you kind of leap up to turn a corner, and you just reach around with the rifle to take a clean shot. So yeah, it's a -2.
For the cover, yes. But...
Yeah. Man, Ferdinand, you got better numbers than this, though. I have a 9.
Got a high of 12. Still only 1 net success.
That's all you need to shoot a grenade.
I mean, I'm just shooting it without hitting and doing any damage.
Yeah. So you bounce off. I will have you... Yeah, I'll basically give him a slight bonus because you won't like fully puncture the grenade with your partial success. You'll like nick it and it will like out of the side. So he has that like extra moment to take a deep breath, right? So let's see how he does. Oh my god! What? Yeah, no, he did extremely bad. Not like grave misfire bad, but like he rolled a lot of high numbers. So, we will do. So he loses 2 initiative, so he loses a whole turn. And yeah, he immediately succumbs to the nauseous effect of it, as he sees you take a shot and he like winces to the side and like pulls back and like smiles at you for a second, and then this wispy like mist like comes around his corner, and he's like and he turns and he sees it and he's like, oh no, and he's like fumbling around with it, and he lets go of his controls for like a whole second as he like with one hand opens the thing, and with the other hand like fumbles the thing, and he grabs the controls again, and he like falls down in his lap, and he's like, damn it, and then he like tosses it, and he's like, nope. And yeah, his initiative has been lowered, which actually does mean that you now get another turn.
Perfect.
Because you were at the
just
bottom
what I
of
want.
initiative.
Just a quick recap. There are 5 living beings in this Zimballis, and 4 of them have to barf.
Oh, geez.
Yes. That is an accurate depiction of this session. It's just full of vomit.
Oh my gosh.
So I think right off the bat, it's my turn to go, right?
Yes.
I'm going to adjust my speed.
Okay.
Well, I know I'm at -2 because of the poison.
Yes. Ferdinand is also at because of your poison. Like father, like son. Ferdinand,
They poison your rabbit, you poison their roadkin.
Yeah, I think I'm going to I'm going to use my.
Well, let me
in my
go
head,
ahead and just tell you really quick.
I would love to hear.
I got no hits.
No hits, perfect. Oh, that's good. That's
No successes here.
I would Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's the same. It doesn't adjust much. I'll just keep my 2 successes.
Okay, cool. So you move. You were at moderate, right?
I wasn't moderate. No, this is my speed adjustment. Not
Okay, cool. So
not
you,
distant.
yeah. So you move. You get to move your speed up 2.
Yeah.
I didn't. That wasn't opposed. That was. I didn't need to roll that.
Oh well, I was going to change distance anyway. If I should.
I fail against your change distance. I will keep my bad roll for you.
I love that. That's really.
But you still have to roll and see if you do
Yeah,
better
so-
than 0.
Fine, that's fair.
You gotta beat a 0. It's tough.
Change distance is a speed roll, yes?
It is.
Yes, yeah, there. Just perfect. Alright, that's pretty good. So that's 2 successes.
Okay. So yeah, you were at moderate range. You are now at extreme range.
Okay.
So yeah, during that moment, as he's like fumbling with the gas grenade and is coughing and retching, the car slows down considerably and like swerves side to side. He's like not racing right now. He's trying to stop himself from throwing up. And in that moment, you just blaze on ahead. You lose sight of his vehicle, Kinsey, as you make it to the Mason Plateau again and sweep to the side and rear back dramatically on the back of your jackalope. And then Umbra kicks off and starts running back towards the canyon. And as you do, you see him swing by you towards it. And then by the time you're back in the canyon, you've lost sight of him again. And you are well on your way to making it to the end of the second lap. Pax.
Yeah.
So you tell Tech everything?
And that's how we got here.
And he stops there for a second. And he like looks at you and goes, so the curse was a lie?
Or it's changed over time?
He's like let go of the arrow. It's like, or like the arrow is unknocked. He has it like loosely hanging in one hand, while the bow hangs in the other. And looks like defeated, and like he's like doing some like mental math. And he goes, when Molu and I were on our mission scouting, we ventured too far. We thought we saw tracks of outsiders, and we decided we would follow, and we thought we could make it back in time, but we were wrong, and well, I blacked out, and so did Molu, and we awoke with Ferdinand over us. He had healed us. And he told us that he had found a way to protect us from the anomaly, he called it, in our blood. But he's been just playing us this whole time. We swore allegiance to him. And then he stops for a second and he goes, oh no. Molu. I was tasked, and he like slides the arrow into the quiver. He goes, I was tasked with killing the male heir, Kinsey. I was tasked with killing him should he win. But what you had said drew me to you, and I asked for clarification, and now I know what has happened. But Molu had a different task altogether. Roland. You're sitting there, you're kind of like watching with everyone else. You see Kinsey just like super take the lead. He pushes so far ahead. He's about to finish his second lap as Ferdinand is only halfway through his second lap. And you're watching, and everyone's like, they're kind of like, haha, like, oh my god, what's going on? Has like kind of like fallen as they've like sort of gotten a little speechless watching this man on a jackalope beat an extremely souped up hover car. And everyone's quiet, and Red Wheel is also quiet, and there's like a little bit of like, wow. They're like, you know, like occasional like murmurs and everything, but it's gotten a lot less jovial as they're just kind of like trying to realize what they're witnessing. It's like something completely unexpected. And just remind me really quick, Roland, you have a talent called, I believe, Ready for Anything?
Yeah, so the number of things that I am ready for is all of them.
Just remind me really quick, that mechanically that means you can't be surprised, right?
Yes, I am immune to the surprise condition. It's been a challenge throughout my life. Surprise parties.
So many M. Night Shyamalan movies, just like
I knew it was gonna happen. In fact, I would like to use my remaining 4 grit to flashback now.
Oh, okay.
hey.
What?
So we're at the Roadkin conference where Red Wheel's like, "What are you waiting for? We got a Zimballis to watch." And I, boss, if I may,
To Red Wheel?
yeah.
She stops, and everyone like takes a half a step away from you. And she looks at you.
I mean, we all know about, you know, Ferdinand's ghosts, keeping their eye on his every move. Yeah. If I was a man in his position, I'd sort of keep my unseeable assassins at the ready to, you know, prevent any sort of transition of power. I'm just saying, you know, keep an eye out. Roadkin, we look out for each other.
Go ahead and roll manipulate. No! I just woke up the dog, and he's very upset with me. You okay?
I assume I am still dressed to impress while I'm wearing
Yeah.
the uniform.
Yeah.
This was like a middling roll, and then my reliability was a 14, and that explosion was a 14.
Alright, well, I have an 11.
Oh, cool. My lowest one before that was an 11, so I have 3 net hits.
Jeez.
Yeah, she looks at you for a second, and everyone's like holding their breath, waiting to see what happens. You get like just the inkling, right? The energy amongst the other Roadkin is like, there's a chance that maybe Red Wheel has killed for less than this. As she looks at you and she goes, well then, Roadkin, we look out for each other. So you look out for me. I want to watch the show. And she waltzes off.
Absolutely.
And all the other Roadkin kind of look around and they're like, yes, boss. So what happens is there's kind of been this whole undercurrent as they've been talking and chatting. They've also been like, and they like take a drink and then they glance over their shoulder and like, okay, yeah. And they're like, they're trying to keep it jovial and keep it light, but every once in a while, like, they're like kind of stretching. And because of your success in your flashback, I will allow. What I was originally going to do was I was going to just tell you that Red Wheel was about to be hit with an attack and make you do something about that. But instead of that, I will tell you Red Wheel is about to be attacked. And the Rogue Queen is all ready.
Yeah, so we're like watching the thing, like looking real casual, like leaning up, commenting on the jackalope, and I will like real casual, same tone, but like I think I'm skilled enough at social situations to like convey the seriousness of the thing I say, despite it being said like laughing and joking. I'm just like, yeah, you got a duck now.
And she like turns to you, and then Grease, like in 2 big strides, like grabs her by the shoulder, pulls her down, and an arrow flies right over his shoulder. And sure enough, you see Molu hand releasing the string, looking at like Grease, and Grease looking at Molu, and then Molu reaches for like another arrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
Like, not to kill him. I'm not skilled enough to like intentionally in a single blow dramatically kill a guy. I'm just aiming, like center mass down. Like if I hit something good, I just need him to know that he's like in a bad spot, right?
Sure.
I picked up too many dice. That's way too many dice. I'm not that good at shooting. Actually, I don't think Manifest has any kind of like suppressive fire mechanic. I would actually rather force him to like, instead of being able to attack, have to duck for cover and just readjust his plan, then hit him.
Sure. Yeah, that feels like a called shot.
Okay.
So it is a -2, but like, because specifically you're not even trying to deal any damage, your effect will be way greater if it is successful.
Okay.
You are up against an 11.
Ah, cool. A number I can never beat.
Ah.
Wow.
He's very good.
Well, I rolled an 8. It's the end of that sentence.
Okay. Yeah, so Roland, as Grease kind of pulls Red Wheel down and the arrow flies over his shoulder, you immediately swing around with a rifle, right?
Yeah.
And you
It's
pop
a
off.
bolt action.
You pop off a shot, and it like bursts against the stone that that Molu is behind. And without like kind of missing a beat, he steps around and grabs an arrow and pulls it out, knocks it, and pulls it back. And looses that arrow.
Man,
and
I already had pretty low opinions of Kelly and Duncan. I didn't think they could get worse.
It is now Ferdinand's turn. He's going to do the only thing he has a hope of achieving, and that is he's going to attempt to try and change the distance here. He has no line of sight to Kinsey. I mean, he does, but like the negatives are way too high with the vomit and everything. Yeah. So yeah, Kinsey, I need you to roll a speed test. It's just, the thing is, I can roll higher than a 9, but these dice don't seem to think it. 9 is what I got.
The dice know who the true king is.
Yeah, that's right. That's 2 net hits for me.
Okay, cool. Second quick action. Gonna try it again.
Might as well.
And you know what? Kinsey, take 2 grit. I'm gonna bamboozle you twice, so you're at a -2. Oh no. Kinsey, what's your highest?
As of right now, it's
It's a 7? Okay, cool. I am going to spend the last of my grit to go it strong to count this 11. Your vomit tricks can't trick me. That's it. You're not going to spend grit, right? You're keeping it 7.
I think I have to. I don't think there's anything that I can do against that.
Okay.
Other than, what I could do is use my last use of In My Element. Because I haven't done that, right?
Yeah,
What's
no,
that?
you pulled it back because you didn't need to use it last time.
Wait, so I do
You
have
still
it?
have it.
You still have it.
Perfect, I'm going to use that real quick. Wait, you know what? Did you say your high was 11?
Yes.
Yeah, then I won't do that because I can only get to 10 on this row.
Haha! I've moved from extreme range to long range.
Well done.
It just cost me 5 freaking grit. Yeah, so he's gaining.
Right.
But it's not
Little
great.
No.
And yeah, Kinsey, you finish the second lap and you start bounding back towards the steps again, or towards the plateau again. And as you do, you again leap over Ferdinand's car. This time, as you leap, unnecessarily, Umbra kicks down and hits the hood of the thing, which makes it kind of tilt a little bit. You didn't need to kick off of it. Yeah.
No.
But yeah. And Ferdinand swerves and still coughing and hacking and trying to push down the bile, swerves to a sloppy stop and then accelerates. And maybe Umbra's showing off a little bit, slows you down just a touch. But you were still at long range, and he is he is still way behind as you move your way towards the second half of the third lap.
Oh, what?
And yeah, it's going to be Kinsey's turn again before we roll into 4.
All right. So, a question for you. In the setting of Zimballis, does try to lose them mean that I just win the race if I lose them?
Oh.
I've never had to make that determination before. Yes.
What? I was wondering. I was hoping I could use this thing. Yeah, that's what I'm going to try to. Now, he has not puked yet. He still has -2, but that should be the only negative modifier because it's a speed test.
So you are at a -1, because there's basically for every enemy vehicle that is chasing you, you are at a -1. So in this instance, you are at a single -1 because you have one enemy vehicle. But yeah, then it's just it is a speed test.
But it is also still the -2 because of the poison. Yeah?
Yeah, and he's at a -2 because he hasn't cleared his stomach either.
Right, perfect.
It's a sloppy Zimballis right now.
Is this what you get when you get 2 non-drivers forced into a Zimballis?
All right.
See, the thing is, Ferdinand, man, if I had 5 grit, this would be a great roll. I would need to be able to go it strong and play to the gallery to be able to make this roll extremely good. But instead, it is only a 6.
Well, I have your grit. and I'm going to spend it to get it strong, which will give me 2 net hit.
Yeah. All right. So, Kinsey, you maintain the lead. You watch as Umbra seems to kind of start, as you are like, you get to the plateau again, you skid to a stop. Umbra stops for just a second, and you like look down. You're not exactly sure what to do. You don't kick him, you don't tug on him, you just kind of look down because it's like a weird, like intentional stop. And he stops and he looks at you, and you kind of see as he kind of straightens up, and those muscles you've been feeling kind of like tense, they kind of loosen a little bit. He just like looks at you and he's like thump, 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 and then just as the Ferdinand's car kind of swings sloppily around a corner and like brushes up against the edge of the canyon and swings back down in like an insane burst of speed, Umber just like launches forward right at this thing from a very long distance, totally clearing this car, tucking in his legs, not even doing the little like kick for fun, just completely tucking in his legs. And like in that moment, Kinsey, you're like, oh, okay. And you like tighten on your grip, you grab onto the antlers instead of the fur, and you're like, here we go. And sure enough, Umber's just like like just full on like 110%, like that morning you first like were still taming him. He just goes full on, like it's what you realize is that he has found out what is happening. Not like, maybe not the extreme depth of it, but definitely he has realized, okay, we've gone from this point to this point to this point to this point to this point, and that thing's following us. I'm gonna go faster. And like, without you even needing to give commands at this point, Kinsey, Umbra like rushes back to the start point, and without you even having a chance, like you're like about to like click your like tongue and like get ready to like, give him commands, and he just bounces like towards the beginning spot and like turns sideways and like lands on a big stone and kicks off of it, and he's just like a swimmer doing laps, right? Like just like not wasting any time at the end, as he's like, oh, I get it. And that's your life now. Roland, Molu let out another shot, and it cleanly hit Grease in the shoulder. And he like spins around and falls down, arrow sticking out, gasping for air. Red Wheel like scampers to the side, taking cover. The rest of the roadkin all like scatter and take cover. What do you do?
I will like duck into cover, but like cover that I can like still peek out and shout at Molu from.
Mm-hmm.
And I will shout back to him, Apep would be ashamed of you.
Damn!
Roll a manipulate test. Have a +6. Because of things that I haven't said, but you might have inferred.
Well, I mean, the thing that I know for sure is that Apep is in charge of the scouts.
Mm-hmm.
You're up against the 17.
I have a 9.
Oh no, Tommy. I have 4 net hits. You do eat my 8.
Yes! Yeah, so you say that, like, you dive. Everyone dives, and you, maybe like a second slower than everyone else, you dive
Definitely.
for cover, scamper, and slam yourself up against the wall, and as you do, like, an arrow flies overhead. And then you, like, get your rifle ready, you get ready to, like, throw another shot, and then you just shout, Apep will be ashamed of you! And then everyone, like, you can see all the rest of the road kid. They're all looking at you like, what? Even Red Wheel, like, has an eyebrow cocked at you. like almost like not like quite confusion, more like I hope you know what you're doing. And then they all kind of sit there and look around, and not another arrow flies. And then you kind of get one leg up under yourself and peek very slowly. And you see Molu sitting there, hand back towards an arrow, but not drawing. Bow ahead of him, no arrow ready. And he sees you in the eyes and goes, "What do you know of my father?"
I know last I heard, the curse wasn't much of a curse. I don't know what Ferdinand told you, but he's lying.
And everyone's like just kind of staring at you. All the roadkin are like, they're like, what the fuck is it? What is going on? And then Red Wheel with a one hand like silences them. And Molu's hand creeps away from his quiver. And he blinks a couple times. And then his hand turns into like a fist. And he kind of like sulks down and goes, "Damn it." And then Red Wheel goes, "I'm gonna stand up now, as long as you're not trying to kill me no more." And then she stands up, and the rest of the road can follow suit, and you stand up, and Mowgli's just kind of sitting there. He's looking around, I'm like not paying attention to you. He's like doing the math in his head. And he looks up, and then you hear, "Kinsey, Kinsey, Zimballis, Zimballis," as Kinsey is making his fourth lap while Ferdinand is finishing his third lap.
Oh, man.
I don't know if I know in character, but out of character, I know how bad it is to get lapped in Zimballis.
And sure enough, as Ferdinand is sweeping to the end of his third lap, Kinsey's coming in to finish his fourth lap. And Ferdinand like swings and like bumps up against something, and he's just like got like no control over his car at this moment. He's still hacking up a lung. He's like completely razzled by what's been going on. One of his guys abandoned ship at some point. Like, he's just got one guy left. The guy who was shot really bad, he just kind of like fell out of the car. And like Kinsey, you just whoosh, like pull up right in front of him, like stopping his car with Umbra, and Umbra just like puts his front paws on the front of the car and like looks right past the mook and right at Ferdinand. And there's like a brief moment, like they've all been cheering and shouting, and there's a moment and they're like, "Kinsey! Kinsey! Kinsey!" Pax, after he said Molu had another task, Tect just went running. Did you follow? He like sprinted out.
No. If he's gonna go take care of that, my plan was to head toward the finish line as soon as I was done with this, like full speed. Like, book it.
Okay. So it turns out you and Tect are running in the same direction.
Oh, great. Who's faster? It's me, right? Yeah.
So Molu looks at you, Roland and Red Wheel, and goes, "I'm sorry." And then like rushes in a different direction.
Dope.
And Red Wheel turns to you, Roland, and goes, "What the hell just happened?"
I mean, I used to be a Riveteer. We head through their... I hadn't got a good look at him until now. He's an Ophidian clan. Scout. We ride through their territory all the time. They have like they have like this regional thing where like if they go past their borders too far, they get sick and die, which is why they stay in the canyon. But like last time we went through, like they had found that wasn't totally the case. They didn't understand their curse, and they were like looking into it. I kind of just gambled that the only reason an Ophidian clan member would be so fiercely loyal would be he thought he'd been saved from a curse.
And Grease like slams himself up against the bullwhip and like breaks the arrow off and goes, "There's a hell of a gamble there, Jack."
I'm pretty good at reading people.
I'll say that. And he takes one step and then he goes, "Oh no," and then falls over to the side, and you see his wound is starting to grow black.
That is almost certainly poisoned. We should get him some medical attention.
And they like rush to pick him up and toss him in the bullwhip and start driving off. Kinsey, you are staring at your father. The other member of his roadkin kind of climbs out of the car and pulls away as like the antlers are like dangerously close to his head. He like pulls back. And the like Umbra just like leans in and like you see as like Ferdinand kind of scared like pulls himself as far back and slightly on top of his cockpit as he possibly can.
What do you say, old chap? Do you want to finish your last lap, or?
God damn it! Take a grit. Oh, that's so mean. He like kind of looks around. Everyone is like slack-jawed staring at him, and then Pax, you skid into line of sight of this scene, and you look around, and Tech is nowhere to be seen.
Okay.
And you see Kinsey looking at Ferdinand, and Ferdinand looking at Kinsey, and like Ferdinand seems to not know what to say.
Okay. Yeah. I'll part this crowd.
They move aside for you.
Great. And I'll come up and I got enough grit. This'll work fine. I'll come up and I'll go, you finish or you leave. That's the way.
That's the word.
Well, the agreement was that Kinsey here, son, would determine who is going to lead in my stead, and surely
When the race is over.
Well,
I see it. You can either go to the plateau and come back, and then you can use your fancy words, or you can get in your car and you can just drive away and not come back. And then I'm gonna start just stomping.
Umbra joins in.
Umbra starts and he's looking around and he's like, "Hey, no," and he tries to like shout to stop the crowd, but suddenly like they're not heeding his words anymore. And then he like drops down into the seat and kicks on the engine and like pulls back, and Umbra kind of bounces off of him, and he like skids to the side. He's like trying to shout over the din, and you can't hear what he's saying. And then as he tries to like kick up the engine, just a shot shoots through.
Yeah, it does.
Cutting the engine. It's like, and the car like sets onto the ground, and he's looking around. He's like flipping switches and like pulling on toggles, and he can't get it going. And then he looks over, and everyone kind of looks over, and you see limping over the horizon, fucking Tusk.
Yes!
She didn't even bring a car?
And she's got a big ass rifle, which you don't remember her having. And she limps over, steps there. She's got her that like face mask completely down, covering her face. But even with that, her voice booms out, silencing everyone. She goes, "Gonna be hard for him to continue without a vehicle. He ain't no nomad. He don't understand our ways." And then she and swings the rifle back around, and she goes, "I say he's run his run. His road's come to an end. What do all of you say?" And everyone's kind of quiet for a second, and then swinging down from another angle, the bullwhip skids to a stop. And out of the top, you see Red Wheel kind of swing around. During this time, Roland, you've seen Slipstream has been working on the wound that Grease has sustained, and seems to be doing a decent job.
Does she have a med kit?
She doesn't. Do you?
Yes.
She will.
I will
that.
loan her my med kit. Normally I would help, but I feel like it's more important for me to be closer to Red Wheel.
Yeah. So you toss it, and then she starts working with that. And with the med kit on hand, she's doing a great job tending to Grease's wound. And Red Wheel swings out, jumps out, and like Ferdinand kind of stands up in his cockpit and is like, Red Wheel, tell the Cloud Cutters that this is our enemy. Don't let Tusk poison you. We came halfway across the Badlands to end the Riveteers. There stands the last Riveteer. When she falls, our mission is complete. And Red Wheel sits there for a second and just goes, I believe the arrangement was Kinsey gets to choose who's in charge. Kinsey? And everyone looks to you, Kinsey. Even your mother with a rifle trained on your father.
Kinsey will raise one finger, look between Red Wheel and Tusk, and point directly at Red.
And there's a moment of silence, and there's like, yeah, you're Red Wheel. Yeah, yeah. And Ferdinand's like, oh no, this is absurd. And he reaches down, and as he pulls out a gun from his cockpit to try and shoot Red Wheel, an arrow flies through his wrist and like pins him against the cockpit. And he lets out a shout and he drops the gun.
Now, no need to be a sore loser.
And you see Tect and Molu kind of like materialize around a corner. Tect having reaching back and grabbing a second arrow. And they actually flank you on either side, Pax.
Damn. The badass street.
Yeah. Man, I don't think there's a good way for me to communicate it. Okay. I could be a public speaker one last time, one last roll. Never again. Seems like Ferdinand's made his bed. And our new leader could use a sage to show her how to best run the new Riveteer and Cloud Cutter clan. Pack. I say pack. I don't say clan. And I think, Ferdinand, you've got some friends to deal with. And then I'll go. And literally, like, you see it.
Yes, she came.
And then I'm gonna take out Rose's guns and yeah, spin them and then just be like, or anyone who says different can talk to me about it.
Wow.
Okay. Honestly, I know you're really nervous, but I can't see this requiring a roll.
Come on. Everybody knows boss.
You just moved up like from third in line to second in line.
I'm trying to insert Tusk
Yeah.
in the second place.
So y'all all sit there for a second, looking at each other. They look at you. No one moves. Ferdinand rips the air out of his wrist, clutches the bleeding wrist, looks around, and goes, "Bullshit! Bullshit! Kill her! She's working with..." And another arrow hits him right in the throat, and he like gurgles and like turns, and Molu reaches back for a second arrow. And he like gasps and touches that arrow and kind of reaches for his gun, and then his arm gets shot off by Tusk's rifle, and he spins and falls off of his truck dead.
Oof.
And
That means the truck's available.
Or the
right?
car.
Because I don't have one.
Yeah,
anymore.
and then she
Such a gross car.
Yeah, it's puke.
gets her rifle ready again, and looks around, and everyone looks at her. And then Red Wheel goes, looks to you, Kinsey, looks back to Tusk, looks to you, Pax, and goes, I ain't about to sit here and wax poetic about my father's misdeeds. I think we all about feel that now. Kinsey, I respect the rules of Zimballis, and I respect your decision to appoint me the leader, but I don't know, she says, kind of leaning back. I don't much feel like a cloud cutter no more. How about the rest of you? No. I was about to say, they all kind of look around, and then like a couple of them look to you for leadership packs.
Yeah, I'll just be like, no.
Like,
No.
no. And she turns to Tusk and goes, "You fought well in Split Boot Canyon. Honestly, if it weren't for a lucky maneuver on my part, I'm not sure I would have been able to take you out of that fight." And then Tusk goes, "It seems like you ain't taken me out of that fight yet." And Red Wheel goes, "I think time of cloud cutters has passed me. Tusk, if you'll have me, I'll ride in your pack. Me and the bullwhip. Right?" She says back to her roadkin. And
Oh
like,
yeah.
And you're like, hell yeah. And then Grease is like clutching his shoulder and goes, I'll be a riveteer. I always look better in denim anyways.
Oh my god, Grease, everyone does. I didn't want to say anything.
And Tusk looks to the rest of them, and she goes, how about it? Riveteers keep riding. Cloud cutters lose some of their best. And y'all come ride for me. And I'll tell you what, ain't no one gonna muscle in on this turf while we got the bullwhip. And everyone kind of looks around, start nodding. A couple people rip some patches off of their jackets.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, hell yeah, yeah. And then Red Wheel walks up to Tusk and looks her up and down, and then turns back to you, Kinsey. You see your half sister and your mother.
Oh, how rude of me! I forgot to introduce you, Mother Tusk. This is Red Wheel, my half sister. Charmed, I'm sure.
Woof.
They look at each other and size each other up in a whole different way. And then Tusk goes, "Hey, Mama, Dad?" And she goes, "Yeah, Father too, it seems." And Tusk looks to you, Kinsey, looks back and goes, "I may got room in my roadkin for one more." And she reaches out a hand, and Red Wheel, like just a slight tear welling in her eye, goes, "All right then," and reaches out a hand. And before she can even reach and clutch the hand, Tusk just like, takes her in a big old hug, and Red Wheel's like, "No, no, no!" like a cat who's been picked up really quickly is like, "Ah!"
Tusk is a hugger.
And yeah, that's where we're gonna end this session.
Oh.
As everyone is cheering, "Riveteer, Riveteer, death to Koenig, death to Koenig."
I think Roland does take the opportunity when everyone's like cheering and like, you know, the celebration is erupting, like goes over to Koenig and like kneels down by him, gives him like a playful pat on his dead cheek. "Oh, you poor idiot! You asked me to do this to you."
End of session. Hey, so all of you can have a grit for surviving a life-threatening situation.
I'd say so.
In your own ways. All of you had a life-threatening situation. So before we get into any other XP-related thingies, I don't think yet. So I don't have any questions that were submitted through the Discord. But any of you who are in the chat, if you have any questions about the session, about the RPG, about the stories that have been posted, or anything like that, now's the time to pop it over in the chat. But we'll give you a little bit of time as we figure out our XP. So I know Kinsey had gotten 2 earlier in the session.
Yes. The Predator was evaded in Mole when he said that his father would be disappointed in him,
Yeah.
but using his daddy issues against him.
Yeah.
And then I think Patience was rewarded when... Can you stop using my character voice? Patience was rewarded when I finally, after 23 sessions, got to use the skunk ape class.
Absolutely.
Finally!
Been holding on to that shit for so long. Miguel Reyes was alive.
I know, right?
Oh man.
So that's 4 for Kinsey.
So lots of people were threatened with violence.
Yep, multiple times, all over the place.
An open fight was avoided through underhanded means in Koenig's pod when me and Tech didn't just like do the coolest, sickest battle.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I'd also say, basically, as soon as the skunk ape grenade went off, those two guys in Koenig's roadkin, they didn't fire another shot. They never had the opportunity after that. So that's an open fight. That's an underhanded mean right there.
It's underhanded and mean.
So that's a grit for you.
Cool. I don't know about this one. I put myself in harm's way to protect others, for no reason other than to protect others, by baiting the Tech.
Oh, sure. You were doing that to try to get Tech so you could talk to him about how he's being...
So I could save him.
Yeah, for sure. That's 3.
Okay. And then take something I want but don't deserve.
I don't think you took anything.
I mean, I took the respect. I took leadership.
You earned those.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, so there we go.
I mean, through underhanded means for sure, but you did earn them.
Then it's just 3 for me.
Some gear was modified in ways that man was not meant to. I think I helped someone solve a problem using my wits, probably. Like helping distract the mechanics so Pax could plant the bomb, or like telling the Road King to keep an eye out for assassins.
Yep.
I talked Molu out of conflict with me.
Yep. Like super directly.
Would that also count as pushing my luck despite a clear chance to fail?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But talking with Red Wheel after she was like, "Get out of here."
Yeah, for sure. That's straight up. You like literally every roadkin was like, "Oh, he's about to die." Yeah.
They don't know. I was allowed to speak. I'm never about to die.
So I believe that's 11 XP for everybody.
Yeah.
Not
We put
bad.
ourselves in level up range for the next session.
Nice. All right, sweet. So that wraps up all of that. I don't see any questions dropping in the stream chat, so I believe with that, we are going to wrap up tonight's session. Thank you all for watching. Congratulations again to Argotlam. We will be sending you your sweet, sweet art prints. And we are going to be on again in just a few days' time, Tuesday, May 5th. I have a lot of prep I need to do for whatever comes next, as you guys are beginning to close this chapter of your time in the Badlands. Great job for all of you. Thank you all for watching. We love you. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. It's right there above Seth. Just do it. Do it right now. I'm just going to dance, and you got to do it, and I won't stop. I'm going to stop. Thank you again. Hope you all had fun watching, because we sure as hell had fun playing.
So much vomit.
Oh, way too much fun.
I did not expect that much vomit this session. I had a lot of prep. None of it involved vomit. Okay, a little bit of it did. I didn't
Well,
do
just a little but just jackalope vomit, right?
Yeah.
So...
All right. Thank you all so much. Have a good night.
Bye. See you Tuesday.